Hello, beautiful people. This is Rue Barbie, aka Army Cree. I gotta be quick with it because I had some technical difficulties where I did not test my audio. I had confidence in StreamYard and I recorded this whole segment of Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 11, Sandbar, right? And there was no audio whatsoever. So I'm going to share my screen with you all real quickie. Hopefully, I might have to just do it like this instead or something like that. But do it like that. So, let's get into it. Let's get into it, okay? So, we got Dr. Simone eating popcorn. That's all she bought for this season and the season before that. Dr. Heavenly bought her bag of mess and her bags of tricks. She is trying to ensnare Phaedra Parks for whatever reason, or get her at a point of vulnerability. When they were asking Phaedra what makes you tick and things like that, Heavenly told her she didn't have to answer that because they were going to find ways to do it, but they didn't, and it's really Dr. Heavenly antagonizing Phaedra Parks. But anyway, here we are. The pettiness is real. The cattiness is at a whole nother level. Toya bought Patron and Toya bought a candle this season. Really easy for her collecting a check. They said Dr. Contessa just showed up as a more of a puppet on the shelf. I love Dr. Contessa, but um, she just been very silent, coming off as friend of the show versus a placeholder on Married to Medicine, but as we call Married to the Mess Child. Dr. Contessa doesn't have beef with uh, Heavenly at this point, so she's just very on mute, so to say. Honey Child, we saw Sweet Tea become a Bay Watch runner, trying to stand by her man. I don't think that was a good move right there. Like, she almost got into a fight with Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly was not going to get physical with Sweet Tea. She is just going to talk her ish to Sweet Tea and yell and try to intimidate her, whatever. Dr. Heavenly won't get physical at all. I heard that there was a fight with Dr. Simone and Sweet Tea that it got physical, but we have to hear, allegedly, we'll have to hear more about that at a later time. But if I was trying to get pregnant, I wouldn't be in no fights. I would not be raising my voice. I would not. I would just coast out and take a page out of Contessa's book and just coast. Okay, because you could afford to do that when you're new. Let me go check on my baby real quick, y'all. Give me 1 minute. Let me check on her. She probably just want a pacifier. 1 second. Okay. All right, I'm back. So yeah, pretty much let's get into it. This is the episode that we have been dying to see since they gave us the preview to the show and gave us these little teasers. So we got Dr. Greg and the boys. They were at the sandbar saying Dr. Scott said that put last night behind them and that little altercation with Quad King, Sweet Tea, and Dr. G. But like Cecil and Simone said, Quiet don't got the big mouth. Dr. G got the big mouth, and he decided to confess and tell King that he was telling Quiet to shut the F up. Everybody thought that he was talking to Sweet Tea, and there's a lot that we haven't seen. There's a lot that has been edited out and compressed, so it makes it hard to decipher what the heck really was said to whom and at what point. Get me? So Dr. Greg got this cigarette, my God, the cigar, and he goes to King's face and, all right, man, chopping it up or whatever. But then Sweet Tea and Dr. Heavenly almost got into it, right? So Dr. G went to console his wife. As he was consoling her, King was like, "Can I talk to you away from the group? Can I pull you to the side or whatever?" Bad timing, bruh. It's giving clout chasing. It's giving I want to be on TV really, really bad right now. You could have waited a little bit longer, 20 minutes, and then stepped to Dr. G. So it didn't look like you were genuinely trying to squash anything. So Dr. G comes over. You trying to son Dr. G, and he is your elder brother. Just because you're taller, or however you feel about yourself, you stepped to him completely wrong. If you were trying to resolve the trauma between Dr. G and Quad. You get what I mean? So it didn't come off. It came off him trying to defend his woman's honor and put Dr. G in his place because he's the new man on the block and blah blah blah. But he should have took emotion out of it because King got emotional when Dr. G said, "I figured you would like that because I know how your girl is. I know how your girl is." So Dr. G, in my opinion, when he got in King's face with his arms out and everything, he's like, who are you talking to? I don't take well to veiled threats." I feel like Dr. G was giving him a subliminal threat to King. And I also feel that Dr. G, we underestimate a psychiatrist, let alone a doctor. They know the chessboard very well. Dr. G's mind is probably really incredible. He studies human behavior. So I'm pretty sure that he knew if he did A, that B would happen, and then C would happen, and that King would react. I'm pretty sure he played all of that out. If I get him to do this, and if he comes at me, then I can get him off the show, and then I got quiet where I want her in a corner, single, looking lonely, while me and my wife Tisha are thriving. Whatever. He had his master plan. What's that dude named Plankton from SpongeBob? Like I feel that Dr. G had this all planned out, but I got mad respect for Dr. G because we saw that Dr. G is a little gangster, okay? He's a little gangster because I heard and I felt that energy that he gave to King. And you don't step to no older man. Like you don't do that. So you were dead wrong. You didn't come side by side. You came stepping on the pedestal, looking down because he was like, "Oh, I heard stories. I heard stories." You didn't even come as a man, in my opinion. So, but we can talk about that in the comments if you disagree. But yeah, um, let's talk about Apollo. We know Apollo still got a thing for Phaedra, and that is still his wife, even though he's with a whole nother woman. The side piece that he cheated on Phaedra with while she was pregnant with their second son, that was his mistress that he married, which means I think he married her while he was in prison, so that don't even count. He was just trying to secure a spot. And Phaedra got a little bit irritated because the ladies were beginning to question Shek, and Shek knows Shireen and Apollo comes to their house and things like that. And we saw a little zest, sprinkles come out of Shek, talking about why you're asking so many questions, why you're asking so many questions. And it got a little bit weird for a few seconds. And then Phaedra was like, you could tell her she was, that knob was just a turning. Pandora's box was about to be opened. Now, our Southern Belle isn't that much of a Southern Belle anymore. She's a vicious peach. Okay? If that makes any sense. So she was irritable, and at that point, I believe it was just, even though everybody was there, it was just really her and Apollo there. And it was that tension between them two that they always carry, the unresolved stuff, like a lot of people, like I was saying in the episode before with Greg and Dr. G and Quad, unresolved issues. Wish you could say things, but you can't with other people. Things are weird, but you got to move on, and stuff like that. You can't just erase. time, and sometimes it might take a plenty of years to get over somebody. But in Apollo's mind, Phaedra is still his wife and the only woman in his world. So Miss Shireen, because Phaedra said, "Why are you so concerned with who I date?" And she said, "Why are you so concerned about who I date?" And Apollo said his response, and his wife butts in, "Miss Fei Fei." And she said, "Nobody was talking." She said, "First of all, my name is not Fei Fei. You bad built beast. Strong." And it was silence in the water. Silence rippled over the water, honey, at the sandbar. And nobody could say nothing. There was no comeback. We don't know if production edited it that way, but it got weird, okay? It got really, really weird. But yeah, what y'all think about Dr. G's approach? What y'all think about Simone and her popcorn? I'd rather have Simone eating popcorn and being quiet versus yelling, because when there's boats and water, it tends not to go so well. But this, they say that the class of the show has gone down, and I do agree with that, because I couldn't tell the difference if it was Love and Hip Hop of Atlanta or Miami, or Married to Medicine, aka Married to the Mess Child. Okay, so I feel that if we're gonna bring Quad back, if we're gonna bring Dr. G back, let's bring back some of these OGs. Let's bring back Mariah. We need some balance of class and shade. We need happy families and couples. Give us Lisa. Give us Mimi, Lisa. Like, let's stir it up a little bit. We want somebody that's gonna get in Dr. Heavenly's rush. We need somebody that's going to drive her crazy and make her wiggle and squirm, because everybody has had their turn at the chopping block on this show. Everybody except for Dr. Heavenly. She has guarded her marriage, and nobody knows what's going on with her. Um, you know, little, just very surface. We want somebody that's going to drive her crazy, and who knows, it might be Dr. Mimi. You know, Dr. Mimi is also a psychiatrist, so let's see what we get from her going forward. I am a very small YouTuber. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have something to say. I appreciate whoever liked the last stream, left a comment, let me know that my work is not in vain. So I'm gonna have to be like the Clark sisters. Is my living in vain? Let me know something. Leave a like, share, and subscribe. Bye, people.